Shalom. I want to give all the praise and all the glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai Bahashem, Rekakwadash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing this truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect members of Israel. All right. So this is I'm gonna jump in Lamentations, the 5th chapter, just through the Spirit, and it reads, "Remember, O Yahweh, what is come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach." So consider and observe our shame, right? Because the Israelites, Yahweh, I always tell you, he refers to us as a degenerate plant. We were once a noble vine, but now he refers to us as a degenerate plant, which degenerate, it means you're not what you once were. Let me get that real quick. Jeremiah 2:21. "Yet I had planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?" Right? So we were a noble vine, meaning, we were better in the past. But it's been so many captivities, and so much reproach put on our people, which is shame. But during the times of King David, during the time of King Solomon, that's when we were that noble vine, right? Our nation was still together. Our nation was, keeping the commandments. We were in touch with Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. But throughout history, we fell. We lost our heritage. You so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, you lost your heritage. That's why you're calling yourselves by those bywords that your oppressor gave you. Because Yahweh, he calls us Israelites, with our respective tribes. We're not all the bywords that the heathen and the oppressor gave us. Those names are not our true identity. Lamentations 5:2, it says, "Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens." All right? And this has happened multiple times in history, but just to think, the Gadites, the so-called North American Indians, and I could say that for all the tribes on the North and South America, but our inheritance is turned into strangers and our houses to aliens. So these the Europeans that came and destroyed the Gadites, Yahweh calls them aliens, right? Which they are aliens. They're let me go into the blue letter and get that word alien real quick. Salakia, bear with me. Let me see. All right, I'm going to get that word alien in the blue letter. It's not Cree. Let's hear it.
Strong's H5237. Nochri.
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 And here's some of the Strong's definitions. It says strange in a variety of degrees and applications: adulterous, different, wonderful, alien, foreigner, outlandish, strange woman. All right. Let me see. So it's going into, just strangers. Our houses are turned to strangers. That's what happened when Europeans came to the Americas. They, ravished the women. They basically they call them in history now. They call them explorers, but those conquistadors and those Europeans that came with Columbus were conquerors, right? And they took over the Americas. And remember, it was a punishment because in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter that talks about the curses, it says that a nation would come from a far land and basically destroy our people. Verse 3, we are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows. We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. Yeah, because all these resources here in the Americas, they were the Gadites. This land belonged to the Gadites, the so-called Native Americans, right? But now, our people, we have to rely on the wicked. We have to go to the wicked for all things, right? If you want a house, you have to go apply for, you got to apply for one through, and who do you go to? You go to your enemy. Anything you need here in Babylon, America, you have to get it from your enemy. And wood is sold unto us. That's what that's going in. Everything that it used to be ours, but now we have to pay for our own things. See? Verse 5, our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest. See? How many of our people is working their ass off all the time? And you have no rest, Even just things like waking up to take your kid to the schools where they indoctrinate your children. You can't even sleep in, man. You gotta, if it's your day off, you still gotta get up and take your kids to school, take them to the school where they indoctrinate them. There's no rest here in Babylon, man. It's not our rest. Tells you that in Micah 2:10. Verse 6, we have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread. All right, and the modern day Assyrians, the modern day Egyptians are the Americans. All right. Verse 7, our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities. See, so this is showing you the regeneration, the reincarnation, right? Even though our forefathers went off, even though our forefathers committed sin, turned their backs on Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and now guess what? We're paying for those iniquities. And we tell you also, we were our forefathers. We are our forefathers because of the regeneration, because of the reincarnation, right? So it's every 4 to 5 generations where we're reincarnated. So when we were getting slaughtered in the Americas as the Gadites, as the so-called Native American Indians, that was actually us. That was the same soul that's in you was being slayed during the time of when America was so-called discovered by the so-called white man. And we're paying for our own iniquities, which are our forefathers, which are us, right? If that makes sense for those who can receive that. Verse 9. We get our bread. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I skipped one. Verse 8. Servants have ruled over us. There is none that doth deliver us out of their hand. All right, so the servants, because, when you read Genesis 25, it says the older shall serve the younger. So it's dealing with Esau, right? The Edomites, they're supposed to be our servants. But instead, we have to serve them. That's why it says servants have ruled over us. These Edomites are supposed to be our servants. Then you go to Genesis 25 in, let me see. Verse 23, Genesis 25:23, it says, and this is talking about Jacob and Esau, the two babies, right? And Yahweh said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. All right? Because Esau, he was the elder. He came out first. He came out before Jacob. Remember, Jacob was holding on to his heel. So he was older than Jacob. So it says, the elder shall serve the younger. So that's telling you that Esau, he's supposed to be the servant, you see? Because he was the elder. So we go back to Lamentations 5 and 8. Servants have ruled over us. There is none that doth deliver us out of their hand. All right? So these are our servants that are ruling over us, right? But it's going to, Yahweh's going to balance it out. When Yahushua comes back and when Yahushua returns, everything's going to get balanced out. Because in Isaiah 14, it shows you that it's going to get balanced out. So we got Isaiah 14:2. It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So you see, Yahweh's going to balance it out. Right now, we're still the captives. We're still being oppressed by our, by our oppressors. But it's going to be switched around, like it says here. It says, we're going to rule over our oppressors. We're going to take them captives whose captives we were. All right? That's why in Lamentations it says, servants have ruled over us, because these Edomites, they're our servants. In the kingdom, they're going to be serving us. They're going to be handmaids and servants, like we just read. So Lamentations 5 and 8. Servants have ruled over us. There is none that doth deliver us out of their hand. So no one can deliver us but Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So we're going to be captives and servants and be oppressed in this land of Babylon, America, until Yahushai visits the earth, right? Verse 9. We get our bread with the peril of our lives, because the sword of the wilderness. See? Dangerous in the wilderness. This place is wild. I always say, the reason why Babylon, America is considered the wilderness and wild, because we're not following the laws of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, which brings in order. When we follow the laws, order is established. But when you don't follow the laws, you're in the wild, man. Look at your women are wild. The kids are wild. It's just a whole recipe for disaster and destruction in this place. And ultimately, that's what's going to happen. This place is reserved for destruction. Verse 10. Our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. All right, and showing you that, hey, the Israelites are dark-skinned people. All right. Verse 11. They ravished the women in Zion and the maids in the cities of Judah. All right, and you go into that word ravished, it means raped. And really, our women are raped and ravished, even on a spiritual level, right? Our people. Because when they cleave to all this Babylonian culture, all the pop culture in America, it's our people being raped, being ravished, man, being degenerated, being, brought low. Because you got the women, they're harlots, they're whores. You got the men, they have no backbone. A lot of these men, that the women rule over them, and children are their oppressors, right? It tells you that. I think that's in Isaiah. Everything's out of order in America, man. But if you're not in the truth, you're not gonna see it that way. You're gonna just look at, oh, this is just the way it is, and you're gonna just move along according to the way this wicked place is. Let me see. Let me get that real quick. Isaiah. Yeah, we'll go to Isaiah for this precept. Isaiah 3 and verse 12, it says, "As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths." See, and who leads our people right now? It's the so-called white man, the Edomite. And he's causing our women, our men to go off. They cause thee to err, like it says here. And the men, you're being ruled by children, and women are oppressed, and children are oppressing you, and your women are ruling over you. There's a few cases here in America where you can tell the man wears the pants, but it's few. The majority of these households, the majority of these marriages are ruled by these women. And these women are out of order. So just think about all the chaos and confusion that's in these households because the woman is leading the way. You got these simps who they allow the women to rule over them. This is Lamentations 5 and 12. It says, princes are hanged up by their hand, and the faces of elders were not honored. See, and that's like a travesty. You're supposed to, that's why we give our honors, our elders double honors. Verse 13, they took the young men to grind, and the children fell under the wood. The elders have ceased from the gate, and the young men from their music. Right? So they took the young men to grind. That means what? What does grind mean? Working. Our people, that's why there's no rest here. Because to be so-called successful in Babylon, America, you got to constantly be grinding. You got to constantly be working. It's, slavery at its finest, you see. Because when we're in the kingdom, we're not going to be grinding like this. We're going to be overseeing the heathen. They're going to be our captives. We're going to oppress them. They're going to be doing our dirty work. They're going to be doing the they're the hard labor, building up our kingdom. That's going to be a job for the heathen. All right. The elders have ceased from the gate. That's for a time. This was accurate. Our elders there was nobody in the gates. And we always tell you the gates is a metaphor for the prophets, right? The teaching of the scripture. So, we're in these last days where information and knowledge is increased. And part of that knowledge is us teaching the scripture and understanding the Bible. So for a time, our people were forgotten. Yahweh casted us away. Was going into that on my last lesson. And, our people, this is the time we're in where this is changing. Because now the elders were back. The elders are back in the gates. The prophets are back in the gates. We're coming into the understanding of the truth. Verse 15, the joy of our heart is ceased, our dance is turned into mourning, right? Because our people, You have men who are waking up to this truth, understanding the Holy Scriptures, having faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And we're coming into, it's this spiritual awakening that's happening among the men of Israel. But for a time, there was none of that happening, you see. Our people we've been under the curses, and our people fell off. They fell off from their heritage. They fell off from their, everything, knowing who we were. We fell off from rulership. We have to be ruled over by our oppressors. Let me get this real quick. Psalm. Because when you're in rulership, when you're not in slavery, it's a beautiful thing, right? Let me get Psalms 137. It says, by the rivers of Babylon, where we sat down, yeah, we wept when we remembered Zion. See, so in Zion is Israel, which our people right now, they're so degenerated. They're such in a low estate. They don't remember anything. They don't remember who they are. They don't remember, they don't remember what great people we were, when we were able to follow our own laws, our own statutes, when we ruled over ourselves, It says, verse 2, we hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. Meaning that the harp is a musical instrument. That's going into that music. It said the young men have ceased from their music, right? Because when we were carried away in our other captivities, our people still knew who they were, and they weren't trying to, it wasn't a happy time, right? They understood that. Right now, you're so dumbed down, you Israelites in America, you're so dumbed down, you don't even know, who you are. In those other captivities, we knew who we were. And when we remembered Zion, it made us sad, We hung up our instruments because we weren't trying to play no music. Because watch, let's read it. Let's keep reading. It says in verse 3, Psalm 137:3, for there they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? See? So it's basically, verse 3 says, they that carried us away captive required of us a song, meaning they want us to entertain them. Just like here in America, our oppressors are like, hey, all right, I want to see you dunk a basketball. I want to see you, I want to see you in a UFC fight. They want us to be the entertainers here, But see, when you're in the right mindset, you're like, how long shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? Or how shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? See, so the way, if you're in your right mindset, you're not going to be wanting to be, you're not going to be entertainment for the heathen. Instead, the best thing we can do right now is, come into this truth, come into the fold of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Not, I want to be a basketball player, or I want to be the top UFC fighter. None of that is good. That's all vanity. None of that's going to bring us salvation. So then you should have that attitude. How shall we sing Yahweh's song in a strange land? You see? Let me go back to Lamentations 5 and verse 15. It says, the joy of our heart is ceased. Our dance is turned into mourning. because our people understood they were in captivity. They understood that they were slaves. Right now, our people are so degenerate that they don't realize, they don't even consider that they're in slavery. They call this America the land of the free, and our people actually believe they're free. (16) The crown is fallen from our head. Woe unto us that we have sinned. See? We were once a noble vine. You know, when you're a noble, you might have a crown on your head, you know? But none of our people are leaders of anything, you know? Our people are they're degenerates, man. And you are a degenerate when you don't realize that you're a slave, when you don't realize you're a captive, when you don't realize you're a prisoner. That's what the scriptures calls us, prisoners of hope, right? Verse 17, for this our heart is faint, for these things our eyes are dim. Because of the mountain of Zion, which is desolate, the foxes walk upon it. See? Showing you that our rulership, our leadership, our government, that we don't have a government here in Babylon. It's desolate, our leadership, right? We don't have it. Verse 19, thou, O Yahweh, remainest forever, thy throne from generation to generation. Wherefore dost thou forget us forever and forsake us so long time? See? Instead of trying to build an empire or become a so-called successful person in America, you should have the mindset like, how long are you going to forget about us, Yahweh, right? What were the apostles asking Yahweh Shai, or the disciples? They asked Yahweh Shai, is Yahweh going to restore thy kingdom? Meaning, when is he going to put us back into rulership, right? Because they were walking in Rome asking that question. And now here we are, the men who are coming into our right mindset, we're asking that same question in Babylon, America, right? We're asking, when are we going to be restored? When is Yahweh Shai going to come back? When are we going to become rulers over the heathen? Rule over our oppressors. Take captives whose captives we were, When is this going to happen? These are valid questions that we should be in the mindset of asking those type of questions instead of trying to make a come up in Babylon, America, Verse 21, turn thou us unto thee, O Yahweh, and we shall be turned. Renew our days of old. See, renew our days of old because, like I say, during the time of King David, King Solomon, those were the days of old. Hey, we were feared. Our nation was feared by the heathen. The heathen was scared to mess with the Israelites. You see? This is how we, a brother in his right mindset, you want it to be like renewed like in the days of old. You want these heathen to be fearing you. You don't want to be in a situation where you have to serve the heathen. And that's what America is. You're going to always be serving the heathen as long as this place is in existence. But when Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai visit the earth, hey, the tables are going to be turned. Verse 22, but thou hast utterly rejected us. Thou art very wroth against us. See, so utterly rejected us, The men in the truth, we know that we're in slavery. We know that this is not our rest. We know that servants are ruling over us. So this is a wrathful thing against us. This is we understand this is a result of punishment, a result of Yahweh rejecting us for a time, right? But now the mercy he's having on us because he's raising up men who are his prophets, who are the whole purpose of the prophets being raised up is get our people in their right mindset, right? to realize like, hey, you're gonna be the ruler. You know, you're the special people on the earth. All right, you're not degenerates. We're gonna get back to that state of being a noble vine and not a degenerate plant. All right. So with that, I want to go ahead and close out. I'm going to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor goes unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rikakudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing this truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect.